I think that the biggest thing is before I was operating from these patterns that I couldn't see, and the patterns were keeping me stuck in my life, were not leading me to happiness. Not being able to see that pattern myself, I think that's one of the big things I got from the program. It helped me see the patterns. Like you've said, you can't break a pattern that you don't see. And trying everything from or every kind of retreat you could think of, Zen sessions, all forms of meditation, going on workshops. I've been a lifelong seeker. And all those were helpful and enriching in their ways. But the way you presented the material, I can now see these patterns that were ineffective in my life. And now I can operate with more effective patterns. So it's like I've switched from my default program to now I have a new program that I'm living by. And one that's more life-giving, that's led to changes in my relationships, changes in my professional life, changes in my inner life, my sense of contentment and peace and happiness.
That's amazing. And I love how you told a specific story about, like, here are this teacher of 29 years and how you walked for the first time ever into school the other day for the start of the school year, which is the most stressful, agonizing part of the year for any teacher. And you're like, I was belly breathing. Like, tell me more about that. That was so great.
Yeah, every year I go back to school, usually August 1st, and begin to set up and get prepared for the year. And I always walk in with a knot in my stomach. I'm thinking, even though the year before went well, I've enjoyed a good career with teaching, but I always think, oh, this is the year they're going to find out I'm an imposter. This is the year my luck will run out. If they really knew who I was. I fooled them last year. Can I fool them again this year? And so I have this mixture of excitement but fear that I have to win over the kids and win over the parents. And that takes so much psychic energy and even affects me physiologically. I could find myself breathing more up in my chest. I'm exhausted by the end of the day. And I went in the other day and I found myself belly breathing. I could feel myself physically situated in my classroom, the science lab, differently. And I was relaxed and I felt the creative juices flowing and I was excited for the year. More excited than I've ever been. It's my 30th year for teaching.
And what is the best part about feeling these creative juices flowing again and feeling just unbridled excitement without that weight of the fear? What's the best part about that for you? I love that.
It's very liberating. It gives me an emotional freedom that's just so peaceful. And I feel like it frees me to reach my potential more. It frees me to tap into some creative resources within me that I couldn't before because I was so wrapped up in worrying what other people would think. It frees me to connect with people more. So the other day when I went in, normally I would just lock my door and get as much as I could done. And I could hear there were a couple of colleagues out in the hall. So I went out of my room, left my setup procedure, and went and spent an hour talking to each of them. And we had these great talks. And so I felt like, okay, I fulfilled the role as a little bit of an elder colleague. And they were just very life-giving conversations, and I wouldn't have done that in the past. I would have just stayed locked in my room, hammering away at my to-do list.
What do you feel is the best part now as you head into this next chapter with Kathy, seeing that you can break these patterns, that progress is possible, and that you guys can connect even more deeply now after all this time?
And the best thing for me is, and I hope for her too, is that a few years ago, about 4 years ago, she was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. So, and we're 63. So, that's every day. That's a daily battle. It's a daily physical, mental, and emotional battle for her. So I thought I want to be able to give her my best in the time we have remaining. This is like my first last chance to do that. So that was my motivation. And for me, that's the best part, is now I feel like that's one part of her life where she doesn't have to struggle as much. It's more life-giving and it's more gratifying and rewarding for me too.
Oh, that's amazing, Rich. What a gift. Yeah. And so final question there for you on this front. If there was somebody sitting there kind of hemming and hawing, they booked a breakthrough call, they're not really sure what to expect, and they're not sure most of all that they can change. that these patterns that they've been living in are solvable. There's so much skepticism that people build up over time, and I'm sure you felt you did feel that. Actually, you verbalized that too, like at the beginning, like, Chris, I don't know if this is, you know, can this really work? Like, what advice would you give them?
The advice I would give them is to be open, because this definitely works. When I had my original call with you, I went into the call thinking, oh, is this just another one of the many things I've tried over my lifetime? So I would say be open, and you've got nothing to lose except making your life incredibly more wonderful.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Rich. I really appreciate you sharing this experiences, and I want to celebrate you for having done the work.